Hello and welcome to the news at 6 on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM Abuja. My name is Oikike Igado. The headlines this are: Six killed, 9 others wounded in Maiduguri attacks. On the foreign scene, Korea's make nuclear pledge after historic summit. And in sports, Super Eagles captain Mikel Obi says his men are ready to battle England. Details of this and more in a moment. Please do stay with us. Another news in full. The police in Borno State say 6 persons have been killed in an attack coordinated by Boko Haram insurgents at Jidari Polo area of Maiduguri. Command spokesman Edith Okon, in a statement on Friday, said the victims included 3 civilians, a member of the Civilian Joint Task Force CJTF, and 2 female suicide bombers. Okon explained that the terrorists launched a surprise attack and fired sporadically and detonated improvised explosive devices. He said the insurgents were repelled by the security forces after a fierce gun battle. He noted that there was no casualty on the side of the police apart from 2 personnel that were injured in the attack. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has been asked to seek new approach in tackling the insecurity issues in the country. This came as killings continue across the country despite the efforts of security agencies in Nigeria. Those who spoke with us said that the president should go beyond condemning the act and look inwards to proffer permanent solutions that would end the killings across Nigeria.
It is a different thing to gather intelligence. It is a different thing to share. Once the security agencies synergize, for example, if it is point A security agency that is in custody of this security information and intelligence information, they should be able to share with others. This issue of showmanship, trying to show that no, it is the land army that is fighting and winning against Boko Haram, we have gone beyond that. The world is now a global village. We have digitalized. They should see how it is done in the United States of America. There you have the FBI, CIA, Homeland Security. Then in the States you have the sheriffs, but you've never heard from the angle of US where you see FBI discrediting the information of CIA or CIA discrediting the information of Homeland Security. Combinedly, they do the job and synergy play out there. This should also be emulated by the Nigerian Armed Forces, police and other security agencies.
Our security hasn't improved. We are not taking security serious. Boko Haram, yes, they've done well in decimating Boko Haram, as they would say, but we cannot even go to farm. Even in Abuja here, there are killings everywhere. The government in power should get to work. You need to talk to service chiefs. You need to talk to retired generals that have been here before. They all get security report. Talk to them, synergize. The North cannot stand alone. The South cannot stand alone. We are Nigeria, and I believe in one Nigeria. I don't believe in ethnic. When you go to America, you ask an American, where are you from? An American will not tell you, I'm from the east side, or I'm from the west side. An American will tell you, I'm an American. And until we get that attitude as Nigerians, that we are Nigerians, from our president to the least person in this country, we are not going to go anywhere. Everything needs to be holistic, and we need to talk ourselves. Even the security apparatus and the service chief, you can see it loop-sided. These things must be balanced. There must be a lot of balance in a lot of things we do. And when we do these things, things will work well. And that is the only way to do security in Nigeria.
There is no security in our country, and this starts from the top. If you look at the killings, you will never hear that a well-placed politician is being killed. But you find out that they are the ones that are even causing the security breach. The more you listen to our radio, you develop hypertension because you don't know where it's secured. Is it your village? Is it Abuja itself? Is it the next door neighbor? You don't even know where security breach is coming from. Nigeria has the best army, especially even in the world and even in Africa. As it is, there is no how somebody could come out from another country and then terrorize us.
The federal government has released a check of 135 million naira to the relatives and victims of the killing of 8 persons by the Department of State Services, DSS, in 2013. The payment is coming 4 years and 7 months after a panel of inquiry by the National Human Rights Commission NHRC indicted the security agency of grossly violating the rights of the victims. The people were killed when security operatives acting on intelligence report in 2013 attacked the victims in a poor area of the FCT.
In a dynamic society, you have to restructure this architecture of your security, carry the community along, because the way we are operating now is like a top-bottom approach, where the security situation is being approached from the viewpoint of those at the top, but they are not collaborating enough with the people at the community. In essence, I'm trying to advocate for what we call community-government partnership, strong one. That means bottom-top approach. Each particular community has its own peculiar problem, and then if the government refuses to partner with the community in finding solution, we will be in this kind of problem.
We have seen cases where the police said it is a mistake, or people just have argument and some trigger-happy police officers will just commit certain things. You have seen situations where the police, such security officers have been taken to court, tried, some jailed, some dismissed. So there's no way it can be a policy of government to accommodate such. It may be in our side that is what is it, but I don't want to believe that is what is it.
The Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, Tony Ojukwu, and the consultant to the victims, Onoha Chinanye, also spoke with us on the issues of rights of the people.
For the law enforcement agency involved here today, the DSS and the military and the police, we have commenced the training to see how they can mainstream human rights into their work. We're going to have a training for the military. You cannot say we're fighting insurgency and we're also committing human rights violations. To make sure that human rights are mainstreamed into their rules of engagement. All these are all proactive measures, and we have also established what we call a quarterly dialogue with law enforcement agents. And during this quarterly dialogue, we talk about complaints on law enforcement, complaints against the security agencies, so that these issues can be dealt with. Unlike before, when there was no access to what the military or SSS or police was doing, now we have a forum where all these issues are arising. And we have also encouraged them to establish what we call human rights decks in all their formations. And all these are aimed at opening up the system to make sure that there's access, to make sure that complaints against violation by law enforcement agents are addressed. And we generally expect that there will be improvement in the system.
When they are looking for such information, it would have been better to come to the people who administer them, the association. They have their members. These people are so closely knitted. Whatever they are looking for, they would have been able to source the information from the association and then find out whether it was genuine for them to carry out the operations. So I would rather advise that government agencies should stop being overtly oppressive towards the people and don't see people as non-entities.
The Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, who made the presentation of the check to the victims' relations, said the gesture is a confirmation of the present administration's commitment to the rule of law, justice, and respect of human rights. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Ibrahim Idris, has asked the Senate not to trivialize the criminal offences indicting Senator Dino Milai, but to allow the rule of law and justice take their course. Milai is indicted on offences bordering on conspiracy and unlawful possession of prohibited firearms and other sundry offences. The police boss said he did not shun the Senate invitation on Thursday, as he acted rightly by sending a senior police officer to represent him while he was on a national engagement. Idris, who made this known in a statement on Friday, pointed out that the officer was to present the police report, actions and findings in a case indicting Senator Dino Milai, but was not allowed to do so. As political activities ahead of 2019 general elections intensify, security agencies in the country have been advised to shun anything that could lead to electoral fraud. The warning becomes necessary because of the sensitive roles the agencies have in the electoral process.
2019 election for both gubernatorial, presidential, and others that is in the corner, especially the Nigerian police force that are constitutionally charged with civil protection protection as well as defense of anything that has to do with internal security. I think they have to do more than enough not to compromise standards by not allowing some corrupt politicians to use money to attract them. They should know that they want to defend the citizens of the country as well as the constitution and the interests of the country. No senator, governor, minister, or whosoever is greater than the country. So what they sworn as commission officers and other ranks to uphold and defend is the citizens of the country. Therefore, at the time they are posted to the polling units, at the places of collation of elections and what have you, they should do whatever is possible to live up to ethical standards. That way, Nigerian citizens will have confidence in their activities, and they should go by 100% adherence to rules of engagement.
Every security apparatus must first understand that the government will come and go, but the Nigerian people will remain. They are first Nigerians. They must want and they must be willing to see that the Nigerian political space grow better than what it used to be. They must understand that being around for political activities does not make them politicians. They need to do what is right. They need to be apolitical. You must not have political affinity. Whether we like it or not, our democracy is still very fragile. The masses will come out and vote. They will vote en masse. Then the Nigerian police must learn how to protect them, not to victimize them. They have the right to vote and they must exercise their right.
We should have a Nigerian that their fundamental right should be protecting the right of every citizen of the country. We do not value the lives of our citizens, but I want to urge the security agents, because the election is coming forward. People value their positions more than the life of individuals. But I'm urging the security agents, they should walk up to their task to ensure that at least people's lives and properties are being protected, because that is what we need.
The people of Ibira in Kogi State of Nigeria have called for unity among all indigenes in order to foster peace and development in the region. They made a call in Abuja during a meeting of the Ibira People's Association and civil society organizations in Kogi Central Senatorial District. Speaking with Human Rights Radio, the President General of the Ibira People's Association, Dr. Adeza Abdurrahman, and other Ibira indigenes said peace is the only thing that can bring development.
The very first ingredient towards achieving development anywhere in the world is peace and stability of that society. Without peace, of course, there will be no investors. But what we are trying to agree on is the unity of voices, the unity of agitation. Let's know what the common man needs. We have a unity of purpose, one way or the other, to which we can hold our leaders onto. Right from 1940s, what our forefathers have achieved for the community. Unfortunately, because of lack of unity, the new generation is unable to even sustain it, not to even talk of building on it. This is why we have called the meeting of the CSOs, who I actually regard as the conscience of our society, to come together so that we can draw a common agenda on our needs and what we believe in and the lacks of the community. With that, we can now ask of such from the government, and the community can do its own part.
Every discussion today is towards peace, and of course, no life without peace. Life itself is created on peace. What we are trying to do is interface, build relationship, share best practices, and chart the way forward towards harnessing all activities together so that it can be for the common good of every individual. It cuts across our social activity, economic advancement, and education. So we believe that when the community plays priority in all these issues, we will be creating great people that will make the nation, and that is why we are here.
Peace generally translates to development, because when there's no peace, there can be development. The first thing should be to coexist peacefully, because there's nobody that is going to throw their hand and resources into a place where there's anarchy, where there's disunity, where there's no peace. So development is peace, and peace is development. This program particularly, it's organized to interface and to talk and channel a way forward for peace in Kogi Central as a panacea for development, which is why I think it is timely and it is good, and there's never enough of it.
Earlier, Dr. Adeza had said there is need to rebuild the unity among members of the group by throwing away old practices that have stunted the social economic development of the people. We'll now take a short break. We'll be right back. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. And on the foreign scene, the leaders of North and South Korea have agreed to work to rid the peninsula of nuclear weapons after holding a historic summit. The announcement was made by the North Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in of South Korea after talks at the border. The two also agreed to push towards turning the ceasefire that ended the Korean War in 1953 into a peace treaty this year. Speaking after Friday's talks, Kim said they have bid farewell to the frozen relationships between North and South Korea and announced the beginning of a warm spring to the world. Previous inter-Korean agreements have included similar pledges but were later abandoned after the North resorted to nuclear and missile tests and the South elected more conservative presidents. Kim said the two leaders had agreed to work to prevent a repeat of the region's unfortunate history in which progress had fizzled out. And in sports, Nigerian captain Mikel Obi has assured that the Super Eagles will be at their best for the prestigious international friendly against the Three Lions of England coming up at Wembley Stadium on 2nd of June 2018. The midfielder said there will be no option for the three-time African champions other than to give the best with the FIFA World Cup right by the door on that day. The match comes up only 2 weeks before Nigeria's first match at the FIFA World Cup. Nigeria takes on Croatia in the first match of the 21st FIFA World Cup on the 16th of June before going against Iceland on the 22nd of June and Argentina at St. Petersburg on 26th June in Group D. England will play the first match against Tunisia on 18th of June before matches against Tunisia, Panama and Belgium 28th June in Group G. That's the news this hour, but we'd like to remind you that 6 people have been killed and 9 others wounded in Maiduguri attacks. On the foreign scene, Korea's make nuclear pledge after historic summit. And in sports, Super Eagles captain Mikel Obi says his men are ready to battle England. That's the news this hour. Thank you for listening.